Hi, we're down on the banks of the River Tweed today and we're going to have a look at the double spey cast. Things that can go wrong with the double spey cast and hopefully how we can fix them. You might see some things that you recognise that are going wrong in your cast. So we'll have a look at them and see what you think. I'll do speed out into the river. So basically, with the double spey cast, I'm on the left hand side bank now, so I'd have my left hand up the rod. Very important, left hand up the rod, left side, right hand up for the right hand side. One of the most important things with a double spey cast is to make sure you keep tension on the line. Very important. The very first thing you'll do in a double spey cast, the very first move you make is very important. If you don't get that move right, your cast's not going to be right. And one of the first faults you will see in the double spey cast is the angler will take the rod from this position and they'll just pull. They'll just pull the line up like this. And basically what's happened is, they've only got a small amount of line up the river. So when they come back down, they're only going to have a very small deal to work with. That's the very first thing that goes wrong with a double spey cast. And you see it all the time. They'll just see an angler, instead they'll just go to make their next cast and they'll no lift the rod, they'll just pull the rod from there and they'll only get it to there. Now that small amount of line lying on the water there is absolutely no good. I've got a 65 foot head on here. You'd be lucky if I'm going to have 15 feet coming back round to make my deal. I'm never going to lift my fly line out the water like. So what do we do to sort that? Very, very important, the double spey cast. The first thing you do before you make your double spey cast to fix that is lift the rod first. That simple movement to there has now released 15 feet of line off the water. This now allows me to sweep upstream and all of a sudden I've got double the amount of line coming back round to make my cast with. That's one of the most key faults you will see at the beginning of the double spey cast. Very easy to fix, just a nice lift and then sweep upstream and drop down. That simple movement gives you plenty of room on your cast and makes your cast 100 times more efficient. So the mistake on the actual, before you even start the cast, is the draw, as I call it, where they didn't bring it to there. That's a mistake before you even start the cast. To fix that, here's the cure, just a simple lift, same sweep up, and you've now got a lovely big deal former to make the cast. Very important. Okay, we've got the simple lift, and the next thing after you've made your lift away is your sweep upstream. Very important. Now ideally, you want to try and leave your fly in this area here. Your fly line wants to be in that area there. That's where your fly is going to land, so you know your fly line. Your fly will land in that area. So all you do, a nice lift away and a nice sweep upstream. And there you've got it. Your fly is now down below you safely. Because the wind's always going to be coming downstream when you're using this cast. So things that can go wrong. You'll see people, they'll lift to there, and the next thing you do, whoa, the whole lot's flying upstream. It's just all about timing, taking your time and getting that fly line in the right position. So in your upstream sweep, just a nice lift, and you don't have to pull it too hard. You've got a long length of line here. It's a nice lift and sweep up and drop. That's all you need to do for your upstream. Very, very straightforward. I'll do it again. So it's a nice lift and a nice up in front of you and drop it on the water. Very, very straightforward. Another thing you'll see people doing, because there are a lot of problems on the initial upstream sweep, is they'll take the rod and they'll go up here and then they'll have it here. They'll bring the rod too far in behind them here. And they end up with a fly end round their feet. If this river was going fast, you'd now have a great big tangle. So again, that's another very common mistake, is they'll lift the rod up like this and they bring it all flying back up that way. So really, part one, lift. Part two, upstream sweep. It's a nice sweep, drop. Far easier. Round you come and cast. So you've now managed to get your fly line from your lift to your upstream sweep. You've now got to get it back round, rise and into your forward position. Again, this causes a lot of problems. So once you get it to here, drop. Watch the line, makes a nice spray round and cast. Things that can go wrong from the downstream sweep is people will get the rod in a nice position here, and what they'll do is they'll take the rod and they'll come up here, and then they'll just bring the rod in here and cast. So really what you've done is you've cut the corner. So there's your upstream sweep for them to there. They'll come to here and then they'll bring the rod to there and then make the cast there. Basically what happens there is your D loop doesn't get a chance to form. There's nothing happens whatsoever. So what you're really wanting to do, once you're up into that nice position there, is sweep and rise. And that way, get a nice cast out like. Just be sweeping and rising. The other thing that's very important is to keep it all moving. There's your cast there. Come round slowly, rising all the time, round and up, and it'll cast, no problem. One of the things that can go wrong, another thing that can go wrong, you get a nice sweep there, and they'll throw the line like this, they'll throw it. So your line ends up away down the river below you. What that does is it puts like a nail shape or a squiggle in the line, and that causes a lot of problems. They'll take the rod and then fling it there, they'll throw the line there, and then come up into the casting position. And all that does, all that throw does, is you'll see it there, is it puts like a nail shape into the line like, and that causes a lot of problems like. The key thing with a double spey cast is keep it under pressure at all time. Keep your line tight at all time. Simple lift, nice sweep up, drop, come round, come up and cast. Very, very straightforward. So for that downstream sweep, you've got a nice lift, you've got a nice drop upstream. So if you're downstream, keep it tight. Up into your cast position and out it goes. Your anchor will be there. Your fly and your fly line will be there. Your D loop will have pivoted and it'll be out in this area here. So your cast can only go out at 45 degrees like. That's very important. So one of the biggest mistakes you'll see on your downstream sweep from here is the person, they'll take the rod and they'll fling it. That's one of the key things that goes wrong on the downstream sweep. Be very careful of that like. Just make a nice sweep. The other thing people do is they lift the rod up here and then they just come round and they cut the corner. And you now see the D loop hasn't even formed, there's not even a D loop hardly there because they haven't completed a nice radius. If you get into a nice position there, get the rod round and up and cast, and out it goes. Very straightforward. So really you've got a nice, your lift, your sweep, roll cast position and out it goes for your double spey cast. Now the thing that can go wrong, the one other thing that can go wrong is people come to here and when they get to here they flick the rod back up like that. And what you see happens is the line goes flying away out behind them. It usually goes up a tree or catches round a bush. I'll show it again. You come round to here, lovely to there, then at the last minute they'll flick it up like a trout angler. And that again causes a lot of problems, because as you can see, your lines went way out behind you. I'll do it again for you. So lovely coming round, lovely to there, and the flick up like that. And what it is the bottom hand is shot out and the top hand is shot back, and that causes a lot of problems. Like. So try and watch for that. Just come to there, come round, come up, and then cast. That's what you're looking for, like. A nice lift. First part up the river, there's your D loop for him. It's going to be that lovely piece of line there. Coming round, roll cast position, and forward. And out it goes. Really, that's the double spey cast. Some of the faults you'll see that people get into, like. I'll go through them again. The very first fault that'll happen is it'll just be the pull upstream, the pull like this. And that causes a very, very limited size of D loop. The second thing that happens is they'll, after they've initiated, they've got a nice lift, they'll then take the rod and they'll fling it all, the whole line will go flying up the river. That's another one of the key problems you'll see on the double spey cast. So you'll lift there and then they'll flick, boom, and all the line goes flying up the river. You're in trouble straight away. Ideally, for a nice double spey cast, it's a nice easy pace. It's like lift, sweep, drop, sweep, round and cast. It really is the most, it's almost waltz time. It's like 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, cast, 2, 2. I know that's old fashioned way, but really when you put it all together, lift, it's 1, 2, 2, sweep, 2, 2, cast, 2, 2. And it really is, that is the pace for the double spey cast. Very, very easy. Now if you've got a very, very, very long-headed line on, I've got an 85-foot carrying line here. That's my 85-foot marker there. And I've got a great big long line now, like. If I just make the ordinary lift and bring it up and drop it, I've got far too much line down the river still. There's no way I'm ever going to get that line to come up and cast for me, like. So a wee trick you can do is you can get a nice lift. When you've got your lift, then you can put a wee extra bit in there, then come round and make the cast. That's because I've got a very, very, very long-headed line on it. It's 85 feet, this line. I'll just show you that again. If you've got a long, long line on in the double spey, there's your lift, and just a wee flick there brings the line up, gives me a much bigger D loop and cast, and out it goes. That's just something if you've ever stuck with a great big long, long line. I'll do a couple of casts, a couple of double spey casts, I'll let you see them. So a nice lift, flick up the stream, bring it round and cast, and out it goes. The double spey cast. That's really the pros and cons of what can go wrong. It's a very, very easy cast and the most used cast there is really on the fishing, like on spey casting. You just remember these simple things. If you see these mistakes in your cast, you know how to fix them with a bit of luck. Cheers.